Okay, so I'm going to kick off with what changed the most from the first version of the story, percolating in brains, to the version we end up seeing on screen?
Okay, well, the first version of the story was a play, actually. I'm a playwright as well.
Hmm.
I was at Juilliard at the time, and I wrote the play as a class assignment. And it was just like a one act play about this argument that I was having with my wife at the time. And so, like, I kind of wrote verbatim down what we were saying to each other and how we were fighting, and then I added some characters around it. And that just lived as like a short little one act play. It got a production in St. Louis at one point, but I was sort of complete with that story. And so, but I sort of like imagine different worlds where they could sort of still exist because they were me and my wife, and I loved them. So they're great characters, and so I wanted to kind of keep playing with them, and so I devised the sort of sci-fi conceit to kind of put them in different scenarios and be able to play with them and see how they might act given different things. So the pilot came. So the pilot came shortly after that, and not much changed really. I wrote the pilot out on spec, and so I sent it out as is, and there was some, like there were some notes that we got from the studio early on, and I made some changes, but none of those made the cut. It really is sort of faithful to the original version of it. Dr. Bonneville was a little weirder. She was way weirder in the first iteration of the script, so we brought her down to like human levels, I think. 'Cause she was strange. She was really strange. I kind of mourned that we never filmed that version of her, but she was very strange to begin with. But pretty much it's sort of time. We kind of cut some things out, but
Hmm.
it's sort of faithful to the original version.
Yeah, I mean, look, infinite realities. We could see the weird version of Dr. Bonneville in season two,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
I loved the kind of like futuristic but grounded version of technology you have. I also love that it was adjusted for like people of color, basically, right?
Mhm.
Because like Siri's white. Let's all be honest here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what were the discussions like about how to advance, like how advanced to make the technological components, but also keep it grounded? Because it all has to be in service of the story, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we truly tried to like with building out the world, I wanted to like bring in technology that was available but not really prevalent. And so like the thing I when I explain the technology in meetings and stuff, I would always say it's like they're on version iPhone 22, like they're just ahead of us. We've got the same stuff, but they've got the more advanced version of it. And so I really tried to make like things that exist, but just make them more uh readily available.
Exaggerated. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
like they're more streamlined and utilized than they are in our real world, but that a lot of it actually exists. And so it feels like it kind of helps um ground you in a way so that we can go to the sort of weirder, more advanced parts if we have that sort of as our base.
It's funny just because like some of it I'm like, oh, it's set in 2023 and now we really have like those self-driving cars. Like I see them
Uh-huh.
drive people around in like Los Angeles. I love that all roads in all universes seem to lead to therapy.
Uh-huh.
So was there, I love it. I was like, we don't get to see this often enough. Was there ever talk of the consequences of what happens if Damascus doesn't end up in a world with Dr. Bonneville? Or was it always like this is like a grounding thing for the entire story?
No, I think we talked about a lot of things and where it could go, and we talked ourselves back from a lot of places that it went. And but I think what we wanted to sort of maintain is that like there is sort of this idea too that he is controlling it when he shouldn't be. And so I think that there's a part of him that keeps coming back to Dr. Bonneville too. And so like I want to like if season two or whatever, I want to kind of explore that he is sort of like a special user. Like we kind of hint at it that he's doing things that others can't do, but that he is sort of like a super user. And so
Mm.
like we'll learn more of why he keeps coming back to the same types of worlds and types of stereotypes. Because like ideally other people, like in my mind, other people do dirt and don't go to therapy in dirt. And so like, yeah, I think that it's something special or unique about Damascus specifically that keeps bringing him back to it.
I am curious. This is a slightly broader question, but what is the first time, if ever, you felt represented on screen?
I'm gonna say this is weird, but I'm gonna say Jake Sisko
Oh,
from Deep Space Nine.
oh, I'm well familiar.
Oh, sweet, yeah. I think that was like I I don't know if I felt yes, I did. I mean, like I felt like, oh, I could be there, you know?
Mm.
And I think that is what representation should do, is just like put you in places that you don't imagine yourself. And so like, yeah, Jake Sisko was yeah, he was a big deal for me. Yeah.
Okay, can I dig a little deeper there because I'm tracking?
Sure, sure.
Is there? Do you think it's because he was younger and you were perhaps younger when you saw it? Because like, versus the his father, Benjamin Sisko, who is like in
Yeah.
charge of everything.
Yeah, I think yes, he was I think we were he was a little older than me, so I thought of him as my like I used to pretend that Benjamin Sisko was my dad and that Jake was my big brother. And so
I love that.
yeah, so that was yeah, so he was just like he was a child in those space, and he was like a curious sort of nerdy kid, which I also was. And so yeah, I just felt like, oh, that's a space for me. That's a space is the space for me.